Broadcasting live from the True Crime Today studios to the world. This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole. From the Hit Killers Podcast.
Stacey Cole and Carol Hughes. Carol's filling in for Tony while he is out somewhere pretending to be on the Titanic or something. I'm hoping everything is going well. This is a story that takes us back 30 years, back to 1996. I was definitely alive back then. I know you were.
I remember when this happened.
Yeah, me too. And it was in the news constantly. And we are talking about JonBenét Ramsey. I'm trying to understand this story. We're just going to go through it and pick it apart. I don't understand why we're still talking about one portion of this story. John Ramsey, the father of murdered child beauty queen JonBenét Ramsey, believes that the answer to solving her 1996 murder lies in untested DNA evidence. He says the Boulder police are unwilling to allow the necessary testing to move forward. He told People magazine, we're begging the police to engage. Now, he's 80 years old. This has been going on a long time. Yeah. There are cutting edge DNA labs that want to help and who believe that they can move the case forward. This begs the question, and we'll go further into this, but why hasn't this been done if they've got genetic material?
And if they're not going to do it, why haven't they said why?
Right.
I would make that very clear. The reason we're not doing this is because maybe we don't have enough DNA left to test or whatever they want to say.
It's just really odd. The device that was used to strangle his 6-year-old daughter, that has been obtained from the crime scene. He says, we're not asking them to do anything weird. Just do your job. Test the DNA. Now, for those of you who don't remember this story, JonBenét was found dead in her family's Boulder, Colorado home on December 26, 1996. So this was the day after Christmas. Alongside her body in a rarely used basement room was a chilling handwritten ransom note. Despite the brutality of the crime, she was sexually assaulted and suffered both strangulation and a blow to the skull. Her parents, John and the late Patsy Ramsey, became prime suspects. Their 9-year-old son, Burke, was also scrutinized. Reflecting on the early days of the investigation, Ramsey recalls his disbelief at the police's focus on the family. We assume that the police would show some level of discernment and wisdom and say, yeah, this is crazy. To think that we murdered our child. Well, we never did. They made that decision on day one and tried desperately to prove it. Now, that leads us back to present day times a little bit. I read that line, it came into mind the Karen Reed story. I'm not sure how much you folled that story.
Oh, I followed that one.
Yeah, it seemed like the police wanted her to be guilty. And they possibly, allegedly aimed the case right at her. Now, on the surface, it does look like she did it, but I don't think she intentionally murdered the guy. But I think because there are so many police officers involved, it just made sense to put the blame elsewhere instead of a whole bunch of drunk people that got way too drunk one night and hit their friend. I don't know.
I think often in murder cases, it's easiest to go to the most logical. This would be the most logical case. She was found in the basement of the family home. So your prime suspects are going to be the family. There's no way it wouldn't be.
But there were footprints outside the window, if I remember correctly.
Seems like there was.
Yeah. There was snow that had just freshly fallen.
Or was it because there wasn't footsteps that they also thought it was them?
See, I'm remembering that there were.
I can't remember.
Let me look that up.
I'm Googling it real quick myself. The absence of footprints in the snow.
Really?
Yeah. But could someone have done it before the snow fell and the snow fell on top of the footprints that were there or something? Because, we've all experienced those snows where you shoveled and then you look out a couple hours later and you can't even tell you shoveled.
Yeah. Good point. There's just I as I was Googling, I saw something here about on Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, 1996, police received a strange call from a hysterical mother whose beauty queen had disappeared. Thought her body was there. Oh, they didn't find her. Okay, this is a whole different story. But unfortunately, thanks to the internet, I just found a picture of the crime scene. Oh. Yikes. I didn't need to see that.
No.
Yeah. Well, so it looks like it's a basement room that you never go into, that there's just stuff in there. There's like a big white pail. There's a bicycle, kind of a junk room. We all have a junk room in our homes, you know?
What I wouldn't give for a junk room.
Yeah.
Well, I live in a small 1940s house. They didn't have junk rooms back then.
They didn't have junk rooms.
No.
Makes sense. Makes sense. But I don't know. Why aren't you testing everything? Why?
Yeah, that makes no sense. And if there is DNA and there are new methods they can try again, why not? You know, I just think it's so interesting. In all these years, they've never been able to solve that case.
Sounds like it can be solved. I don't understand what the hesitation is, unless it's they don't want egg on their face that they screwed up the case.
It could be.
I don't know. This just seems weird. There's, according to this article in People magazine, there are 6 or 7 items that were returned untested. You know, 30 years ago, we didn't have the DNA technology. We've got it now. Why aren't we using it?
And it's even gotten better than the first time they did DNA testing on anything.
Absolutely. John Ramsey says, if it stays in the hands of the Boulder police, it will not be solved, period. If they accept help, all the help that's out there that's available and offered, it will be solved. Yes, I believe it will be solved. This poor man is 80 years old. Patsy passed away in 2006. Neither she, John, nor their son have ever been charged in connection with the murder. It's time to close this case.
I think so too. And, you know, I have to wonder, because Netflix is doing this documentary and it comes out, we're recording this a couple days before it streams. I wonder if it'll have kind of the effect the Menendez brothers thing had, because that really brought that case back to life again. Got everybody talking again about it. Could happen again.
This series, it's called Cold Case, Who Killed JonBenét Ramsey, begins streaming November 25th. And I can almost guarantee public pressure will reignite interest, and they're going to have to do this. They're just going to have to, and we'll find out who did this horrible crime.
You're in the thick of a true crime saga, every detail sinking in. And then, wham, a commercial about something you couldn't care less about. It's like being served a microwaved dinner at a 5-star restaurant. But it doesn't have to be this way. Go for True Crime Today, Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. With True Crime Today, Premium Plus, you get uninterrupted, ad-free episodes, extended interviews that dig even deeper into the muck, and early access so you can brag to your friends. It's like ordering the secret menu at a crime buffet. So, search for True Crime Today, Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and savor every twisted detail without interruption.